Okay, everybody, let's talk about runes. You know, I've done some of these rune reading videos earlier on when I started coming back to doing the wonders of video creation. And you couldn't see the set I was using because I was just having them on the flat of my hand, and you know, you couldn't pick them up on the camera. But this is the set I've been using, and of course, this is the one I purchased second hand from a local practicing witch. And of course, I'm showing you these wonderful stones with the backdrop of my Ouija board, which makes me seem even more weird and wonderful. But let's just think about, what these things are. Here's what these things are, and here's what some people say that they are. And then there's the meanings that they might have, and then there's the meanings that other people say they have, if you get my drift. It is just patterns carved on stone or wood or clay. That's all it is. The good thing about these is that they're incredibly easy to visualize. So if that's part of your practices, then having a kind of like a relationship with a very simple symbol system like this, it could in fact be very useful and practical when it comes to issues of self-exploration, issues of exploring or experimenting with divination, or using the individual symbols as keys to various forms of energetic astral world that you might want to try and explore within your visualization, so you can develop a deeper, more poetic understanding as to what these symbols could stand for. There are people out there who say that the runes themselves have their own energy. It's one of those phrases people use an awful lot, but I don't know why they say that. Okay, so these are symbols which have been used as a form of writing and possibly storytelling or fortune telling of different types for centuries. Sure, so has that imbued them with some kind of extra power? I don't think we can necessarily say, but I did have an experience once in my early days. I made my own rune set out of some boxwood, I think it was. It wasn't very good. It was a little splintery and a little crap. But I'd had all the various different runes carved into them, and one day I chose to wash them. And the moment I put my hands on this rune here, which is the Manu rune, which is supposed to be symbolic of, amongst other things, the moon itself, I just suddenly got a very strong visualization of the moon, a full moon, coming out clear as day, just like a moment of visualized madness. So some might say that I was somehow connecting with that particular runic energy. But was that because I'd already read that it was connected to the energy of the moon, or I had had similar experiences through meditating on the moon with a symbol, or was it because the moon is a very easy, common thing in all of our experiences, and therefore it would come through to my mind's eye anyway? We always have more questions than we have answers, but essentially there's a curious Eastern crossover, I think, because these things are associated with sound. Sound is used in mantra, so therefore creating a mantra from the sounds of just a few of these things could actually be quite good. So you could have an E, B, L, E, B, L, or you could put any other vowel symbols with it, and then you got your phonetic meditation. Maybe you could even do a divination to work out, which stones you think is right for your energy today, and then create a chant based upon that. There's ways in which it can be used, also with visualization, also with, I think it's called steady Galdor, which is the technique of moving your body into the shape of one of the runic letters. You probably want to try an easy one, okay, if you get my drift. You probably want to try an easy one, as opposed to how you would contort your body to do that. Like some people say that you need two people to do some of these, okay, for obvious reasons. I'm still not quite sure how you'd actually, never mind. Anyway, so essentially using posture in some manner, which is somehow connected to this. I have seen a form of steady Galdor which just uses your hands to make the symbols of, let's say, something similar to the Rad rune, or maybe you'd use two hands for it. But that's another way of like meditating into the symbols and what they could be referring to and what their energies could be about. I once attended a class in which there was this girl who put her body in, I think it was a Tir rune shape, and chanted the Tia rune in different ways. And while she was doing that, she felt certain sensations of being lightheaded and so on and so forth. And she was told that this was the energy of the rune, and what she had done was just to invoke the energy of the rune. But there wasn't that much talk in that class about how you deliver intention into that evoked energy for the purposes of making it do something. But if we then think about other more modern traditions, right, such as the radionics machine, that kind of like informs you, doesn't it? Because you have to have a witness sample, you have to have a target to deliver the energy to. That goes onto the output plate, okay? And on the input would go in your various symbols. But the quantity of energy you'll be raising, so to speak, this is just me speaking hypothetically, as a result of just turning a few dials on a radionics machine, as opposed to sitting down and chanting, or standing and chanting, or putting your hands into a particular shape and chanting and chanting and chanting and chanting and willing and drawing up the energy. Then what you could do is then take a piece of paper with your runic letters written on it, shove that straight onto your input plate, and then your witness sample on your output plate, and then it would make more sense to deliver your intention that way, because it's a question of raised energy. I mean, the radionic method itself, using the radionics machine, has some challenges because it doesn't really give you the scope necessarily to get the right quantity of auric energy raised all by its little self. So it seems to me as though that's like the radionic machine is a stage in the process, but having knowledge of your symbol systems and having knowledge of sounds associated with them is the way to build up the energy to deliver all your runic chanty weirdy intention to your end goal. Does that make sense? I don't know. This is just me speaking hypothetically based upon experience and things which I've read and things which I've done. Maybe this is like the one true way which I'm speaking of here, or maybe it isn't. I don't know either. But let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, comment, definitely comment, click the bell icon, and share this far and wide to all of the other weirdos in the world who like weird things.